Ah, the Italians. I bet you never knew they can cook some very interesting soul food as well. Welcome back, folks, to another exciting episode of Yes Chef. I'm your host, as always, Big Chef Dro. And the Italians, they figured it out. They figured it out. So today, we're gonna do Veal Osso Buco. Oh, it sounds bougie. It's very expensive when you go out to the restaurants to buy it. But to be totally honest, it's soul food. This should go very well. Come on, family. Let's cook. All right, family. So welcome back. Let's go over the ingredients of this Veal Osso Buco recipe. I know it looks like a lot, but we're kind of doing a few things here. So we're gonna put this veal with some couscous, and we're gonna flavor the couscous with some saffron, okay? So we'll get that out of the way, and we're also gonna use some of this chicken broth for the couscous as well. Some of it is gonna be used for the Osso Buco itself, and whatever is left over, we can add a little bit more water to it if we have to. But you know, this is going to serve the purpose for both the couscous and the Osso Buco. Now, if you don't know what couscous is, it's a grain. So there's three types. This is the Moroccan style couscous. This is the real small ones. There's some that there's Mediterranean style as well. They're a little bit bigger. They're called pearl couscous, I think. I've never had those, and it really, I don't know why, I just never had them. But I do like this if it's flavored right, and so that's why I'm going to put some saffron, some salt, and pepper, and do it in some chicken broth. Okay, so that should be it for that. Then we're going to make a gremolata sauce. That's traditional for the Milanese style Osso Buco. And that sauce, it's a green sauce made with parsley, Italian parsley. Obviously, this is an Italian dish. So Italian parsley, some olive oil, and some garlic, which I have in the refrigerator already cut up. I didn't put that out. I should have put that out. And the zest and juice of a lemon, okay? So we'll get that over here for the gremolata sauce. And that goes on top. It's nothing that's gonna be inside of it, but you'll see all that. Oh, and my glove, so the craziest thing ever, I never cut myself while I'm very careful with the knife. I don't try to be fast and try to show off, you know, like all these bougie chefs and cooks do. So I don't think I've ever cut myself with the knife while cutting. Maybe once, maybe. I don't even remember. So yesterday, my kids are cooking pizza and they're looking for the pizza slicer. I see it in the drawer. I go to grab it, and it's up under the slicer that you do, what are those things called? Shredders or whatever. The things that you use to take the skin off of carrots and things of that nature. I went down to grab it. That thing sliced my finger wide open. So, and the bad part is, the horrible part is, I'm getting flued out to Atlanta today. I'll be in Atlanta tomorrow, and you know, got this cut. It doesn't affect anything. It's really mobile. It doesn't hurt, you know, but that's why I got the glove on. So let's go through the Osso Buco ingredients first. We're gonna do some diced tomatoes. You can use Parmesan, you can use plum tomatoes and crush them yourselves, or you can just get crushed tomatoes. I got diced tomatoes because, well, that's what was in my closet. Whatever. Then you got some tomato paste. Always get your tomato paste in a tube so you can reuse it and keep it without the little can things, you know, never stays well. We have some butter oil, some onion. We have, of course, the carrots, the celery, and I like to put some portobello baby mushrooms in mine, okay? This kind of reminds me of an oxtail video that I did a while back in the Dutch oven. So the star of the show, the veal, as you can see, nice and meaty. I got some really nice shanks here. Veal is a baby cow. Now, some people don't like the fact that it's a baby cow. And a lot of restaurants don't put the veal osso buco on the menu because of that. I don't know why, because veal osso buco is absolutely delicious. Now, it's usually when people do osso buco in the restaurants, they'll do a pork shank. They'll take the pork and do it's cheaper because this is very expensive. These things are, man, at least $17, $18 a pound. And as you can see, these things are really, really meaty and really, really heavy. So, you know, they are expensive to do or to buy, but the payoff is just so good if you do it the right way. It's really simple. So I'm gonna show you how to do this as simply as you possibly can. If you saw the oxtail video, it's pretty much the same thing. So I will link that up top so you can go and see that as well, because it's pretty much the same thing. And even the short rib video, I'll put that up there as well. They're basically the same. But this is high quality veal. Veal is very hard to find. It's very hard to find veal because they're baby cows, and ain't a lot of baby cows out there, I guess. I don't know. But we're going to enjoy this. So let's get into this right now. Let me get everything set up so we can get started, okay? All right, family. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and season and tie off the osso buco, because I don't know if you can see it or not, but you know, the bones, you know, there's no meat there. There's none there, none there, none on a little bit on this side. So what we want to do is we want to take some butcher's twine and just wrap them. And listen, you don't have to be fancy with this. You don't have to know what a butcher's knot is or a butcher's whatever is. Just put the doggone thing on there and just tie it in a knot and get it a little tight, because once this breaks down, you know, you're gonna get a lot of, maybe I shouldn't do this. Maybe I should put it just in a knot so I can cut the rest of it off. You're gonna get, this meat is just gonna fall off the bone. And then just go ahead and cut the ends of it. And this just ensures that it kind of stays in place. So it's, you know, it's not all over the pot, because oxtails do that when you cook them. So we'll go ahead and tie these off, and then we'll be right back. All right, family, so now we have that out of the way. They're all tied, just a single little knot, nothing fancy. Just tie them up so they don't come apart in the Dutch oven, and you know, it looks like mess when you go to present it. So, you know, most people just usually do salt and pepper on this, but you know what? This stuff it's just too decadent. In fact, it's too expensive to just put some salt and some pepper on it. We're gonna build flavor. You know how we do it over here. So we're gonna do some smoked paprika and some black pepper. For those of you who are new to the channel, this is my 50-50 mix. This is the seasonings this is the seasoning that I use to get a saltiness to my food the majority of the time. So this is Morton's season oil and accent salt. 50-50 mix, equal parts accent salt, equal parts Morton season oil. Now, some of y'all grew up on Lowry's, and I grew up on Lowry's too, but I think the Morton's is just a little bit better than Lowry's. So I just take half and half, put it in this jar, mix it together. And that's my special seasoning there. Then we have some granulated garlic powder and some granulated onion as well. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna season this bad boy on up. And I'm gonna put the paprika first because I wanna lock in that flavor. I wanna lock that in. Now, all of the flavors are gonna stay in there because, after this, we're gonna go ahead and coat it so with some flour so we can lock all that in. All right, so here's the pepper. Here's my seasoning, and I'm putting it in this order because the pepper kind of falls off a little. Then we'll get that garlic in there. And don't be afraid to season this. And then the onion. All right. Turn this over. Do the exact same thing on the other side. And folks, do not be afraid to season this. Now, some of this stuff is going to fall off, but you'll wipe this up at the end to get it off in there completely. So let's do this side as well. And listen, there's some bone marrow in there you may be able to pick out when it's all done. So we'll go ahead and finish getting this all seasoned up, and then we'll be right back. Right, so we got all this seasoned up, and like I said, a lot of it is going to fall off, but we're going to just scoop it all back up on here. Get this as flavorful as we possibly can, because we're going to lock this in with this flour. We're going to just roll it all around in there. Get some on the bottom, on the other bottom. Okay, so we have our veal all coated with the flour. It's ready to go. So I just turned this on. This Dutch oven is going to start getting hot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some butter oil and instead of just pure olive oil. I've already got all of the carrots, the onion, and the celery all chopped up. I do like to use the leaves on the celery. That's my thing. That's what I like to do. Here we do have some herbs that we're going to put in there. I have some basil. I know basil is not customarily put in this. And I got some thyme, but I'm not going to put the thyme in right away. I'm actually going to put the thyme in later, and you'll see when we get to that point. And then I got about 3 bay leaves. I got about 3 bay leaves as well, along with that. So we're almost ready to go. This is getting hot. Now, I'm going to probably turn it down to a medium. I'm not going to cook it all the way on high. Okay. So now when we're ready for this, we'll be back. Go ahead and put that first one in there. Hopefully I can get all 3. You don't want to overcrowd this. You want to kind of make sure they all have some room to kind of brown. Check this. Yeah, see, that looks pretty good. I'll let it sit a little while longer though. Want a nice browning on that. Look at that one. That's what you're looking for. So be patient with it, let it get hot, not too hot, because you don't want it, but you really want to use what's left in here when it's all said and done. So you don't want your pot up, your heat up too high. Okay, so like a good medium to medium high in between. So we can go ahead and start turning these over to the other side. These are coming along nicely. See that? That looks really good. All right, so we'll go ahead and bring these out. All right, then we'll go ahead and just drop those in there. Just put a little bit more oil in there. All right, these are sweated off pretty good. Remember, this is going to be in the oven for a considerable amount of time, so you don't need to push that envelope too far. So you go ahead and add your portobello mushrooms, the baby bellas, and now you're in a safe spot where you can just go ahead and put your garlic in, and you don't have to worry about it burning. These vegetables are going to add some moisture to this pot, especially the mushrooms when they start to cook down. So you're really not going to have to worry too much about it. Now you can add a little oil here if you want. I am a little more butter oil. All right, so. And just so you know, I think I forgot to say it. This was about 2.5. This was actually 3 stalks of celery, and it was 2 sticks of carrots and half of the onion that I put in for the mirepoix. And the mirepoix is basically, the French term when they use celery, onion, and carrots. I like to add my garlic and my mushrooms to that mirepoix. So that's how much I used on that. So now I got my tomato paste, and I'm going to squeeze in about a good tablespoon of the tomato paste. I'm going to get that working. All right. Now, got a little bit of wine, red wine left over. This usually calls for white, but you can use red, preferably a dry red wine. And the Italian red wines are normally dry, so preferably an Italian red wine, Chianti or things of that nature. But I don't go out and spend $8, $9, $10 on a bottle of wine just to cook with it. I'm just not going to do that. So I get, what's on the bottom shelf at Walmart, the Cabernets, the Shiraz, or, whatever you have. And I use that. All right. So now we're getting some fond on the bottom here because we put that tomato in there. So let's go ahead and deglaze this with the red wine. Let all that start to incorporate into that red wine. Now, the red wine is going to give it more of a robust flavor. The white wine, it's going to mellow it out a little bit. And it's your choice, whether you want to use a dry white wine or, a dry red wine. It's simply up to you on what how you want to do that. All right, so we'll let this cook off a little bit more, so that red wine flavor and that tomato paste flavor can get off into the sauce here. All right, so let's go ahead, get these tomatoes off in here. And then we're gonna let this also cook off a little bit, but now we'll go ahead and put our top on. Put it on halfway. We're gonna really let that kind of get in there and cook. Now I didn't use all of the tomatoes. I probably used a little over half of a can maybe. I didn't use all of it. I only have 4 pieces here. So we're gonna let this cook. We'll let this on medium somewhere around 10 minutes, checking on it every once in a while and stirring it occasionally. But we kind of want that. We want this to really create something beautiful here. Okay, so we'll be back. All right, so this has cooked down nicely, incorporated really good. So we'll go ahead and we can turn this off. No sense in keeping that burning. And let's go ahead and put the bigger sides down in there. Okay. Put that off in there. All right. So we'll go ahead. Let me rinse this off. All right, so we'll go ahead and get this chicken stock off in here. Make sure it's incorporated all the way through. And we'll just bring it up. I guess I was able to use most of it. I only got a cup left. So I used 3 cups of the broth, the chicken broth in here. All right. So that you know, well, you could be cooking more or could have a bigger pot or whatever. So, all right. So let's just go ahead and put these bay leaves off in there. And let's get this, this basil chopped up. Okay, now let's get that off in there. Get that in there. We want this to be ready. All right, so I'm going to put this in the oven at 300 degrees for about 3 hours. Put the lid on it. Got the oven preheated at 300 degrees. So in 3 hours, we will be back. All right, family. So I just got done mincing up this garlic. It's about 4 cloves. You know, they weren't really that big. I've also chopped up the Italian parsley. We'll go ahead, put this off in there. Okay. Then I'm going to go ahead and zest these 2 halves of lemons. I should not have cut it. I cut it before I even thought about it, but we're going to use it anyway. How about that? Let's go ahead and just zest this up. Go ahead and just squeeze this lemon off in here. This lemon juice. All right, go ahead and add some kosher salt. And this is the coarse kosher salt. Add it to your taste. And then some fresh cracked pepper. Some olive oil in there. Now, a little more olive oil. There you have a nice little gremolata sauce. All right, everybody, it's been 3 hours. And man, this is looking good. Man, this is looking real good. All right. All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take these out as carefully as we can. The butcher's twine has came off of this one. Man, and it didn't come off, but it just, man, I got to be careful with this one. Whew. Yeah, that one there came off. Get that back in there. And then let's get this one out of here as well. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to take this juice, we're going to pour it off in here. Because we're going to make a nice sauce. We're going to make a very nice sauce for this. Go ahead, push all of that juice, that goodness off in there. So now that I have that out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and pour this in here. So this is what you use if you're clarifying butter or something like this, or you're with the butter, you're trying to get, you know, all of the you're trying to get the clarified butter out without all of the fat. This is something that you would use. Also, if you're trying to get oil out of something as well, this is what you would use. So once this settles, the oils that are in there are going to settle on the top, and we can pour, we can just hit this little switch right here, and it'll pour all of the good stuff on the bottom back into the pan. So if you can see here, all of the oil is settling on the top. So I don't need to fish out any unwanted oils. That's gonna do it for me. All right, family. So I got about 4 tablespoons of butter in here. And we're just gonna put a little bit of flour off in there. We wanna make a roux for this sauce. Turn it down a little bit. Nothing too heavy. I don't want it to be, you know, like a gravy, but, you know, like a sauce. The secret to a good sauce, or even a gravy, you want to stir in that butter and flour until that flour taste comes out of the flour. And you'll know that when you start to smell a nutty flavor or nutty smell. When you start smelling that nutty smell, you know that it's ready, and you can proceed with whatever type of liquid that you have to go in there. This is almost there. So as you can see, the oil has really risen to the top on this. So we'll just go ahead, just release it, stir it. You don't want any lumps in there. Turn it down just a little bit more. And as always, folks, how do you know you stuck the sauce? When it coats the back of the spoon, or the front of the spoon for that matter. All right? Oh man, oh, that's good. Oh man, that's good. That's really good. Okay, so now we're gonna get ready for this couscous. Everything is ready. You wanna serve the couscous hot. So I have 2 cups of chicken stock here. And I have 2 cups of couscous. Now, this is really easy to do. All right, so first I wanna put my saffron in there. Get me some of this. I'll put about that much saffron in there so I can really taste it. And this is, again, this is real easy to do. I mean, you can put whatever flavors that you want in there. I'll add just a little bit of sea salt, because just a little bit, because the chicken stock is salty as well. So you don't want to overdo it on that. Though I didn't really make it that strong, but I know it can get overbearing at times if you put too much. So basically, all you want to do is just let this boil, and once it boils, we'll be back. All right, family, so we're boiling, and all we want to do is put equal parts of couscous. So 2 cups of water or chicken stock is good for 2 cups of couscous. Now, we're going to turn this off. No need to keep this on. Look how easy this is to do. Now, put a top right on it. Set it to the side. And let it sit for about 4 or 5 minutes. All right, family. So the couscous is ready. So when it's done, you want to just go ahead, get yourself a fork, and just fluff it. It's going to seem like it's dry, and but that's just how this this type of couscous is. So just get in there with your fork, fluff it out. You see it's getting, the volume's getting higher on it. So we're going to go ahead, plate this bad boy up, and we will be ready momentarily. All right, family, so here we are. This couscous looks absolutely amazing, man. And it has the best thing on top, this beautiful veal. Oh man, I cannot wait to get into this, folks. So I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. I got this little itty bitty one here, and I'm gonna go ahead and go in on this one. But first, I'm gonna get into this bone marrow that's off here. It's deep, deep off in this bone. Man, look at that. That's some just pure goodness, gelatinous, just full of flavor, buttery. Oh. Now, some people can't take the consistency of it, but I love that bone marrow. Oh, that thing is so good. Wow. So I'm just gonna take a little piece off of there. Thing's still hot, smoking. Y'all can keep that pork shank. This thing right here. I know I'm doing a little ASMR. Ain't that how I go? ASMR, where people be smacking. I don't understand how people like this stuff. I always do the video eating these veals, all 4 of them at the same time. Ain't nothing like some veal. I'll tell you that right now. So folks, that's it for me. We're gonna go ahead and get off into this this veal. We're gonna do our thing. See my little boo-boo, man. But folks, if you got any value out of this video, go ahead and hit the like button for me. If this is your first time coming to see me, I want to welcome you. Thanks for watching. And if you want to be a part of this family, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And make sure you stay up to date on everything that we're coming out with by hitting that notification bell. That'll ensure you know every time we drop a new video. So folks, man, See how simple that was? It's real simple. You can do it too and impress people. So until the next time, until the very next video, as always, family, peace.